Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 75 of our Tracksuit to the Top series here at Lewis FC in the Premier League. Hopefully you guys are good. Today I've got for you guys a special episode for episode 75. Last episode I kind of left off saying, oh, we'll do 2 double headers. No, today we're going to do 4 huge matches, and that's huge with a capital H, a capital U, a capital G, and a capital E just for good measure. So anyway, if you are watching this and you've just settled down and you've not seen the time of the video yet and how long this is going to be, I suggest you go and get some popcorn, go make yourself a cup of tea, pause the video, and yeah, come back. So I'll wait for you. So right, anyway, assuming you've now got your popcorn, you've got your cup of tea, let's talk about this episode. Let's talk about what's happening in this episode. So, last episode was the game against 20. Since then, I've played a hell of a lot of games, and we've actually gone on an incredible run of form. Granted, some very easy games, really. Well, easier games, I guess you could say, against smaller teams and also against teams not so high in the Premier League. But I don't want to cover these in too much detail, but just to highlight a few of the big results. We beat Norwich 2-1, which was a good result. We got a home draw against Manchester City with Batagelli and Insua grabbing a goal each. We beat Lille in our last Europa League group stage game 4-0. That was a really good result to end that. The next game we had was against Tottenham, where we won 7-2. Yes, 7. Matthew Lewis grabbing a hat-trick, and let's talk about Matthew. Let's big him up some more. Why not? So, obviously, playing incredible this year. Worth noting that he is wanted by Manchester United, and I did foolishly make him the promise that I was going to strengthen the team in this January transfer window, which is something I've not done. So, there is a risk that he may be a little bit annoyed and that he may want to go and talk to Manchester United about Champions League glory. I am hoping, however, that we will be able to keep him around. But in terms of in the league, he's been superb. Scored 26 in 22, more than a goal a game. This man has really been single-handedly carrying the team. You can see in all competitions, 36 in 30. He's been great. And obviously the hat-trick against Tottenham was a very good result. The only defeat we've had since that game against 20, so in about the last 2 months, was actually at home against QPR. A bit of a shock result, a bit of a disappointing one, this one. And you can notice here, Suarez coming back from injury, and he got injured again. He got a groin strain, so he was out for 2 weeks. So that was a bit annoying. Obviously, he dislocated his shoulder prior to that, but that was a really poor performance to lose 1-0 in that manner. Other than that, a few really good kind of standard wins, I guess you'd say, against other Premier League teams. Teams like Swansea, who are down there in the table, Reading as well, Bournemouth. We then won in the FA Cup, 3rd round against Newcastle, Iheanacho and Sewer and China with the goals there. We followed up with a 2-1 win against West Brom in the league, and Matthew Lewis and Manuel Jesus getting the goals. And then the last game in this run of results was against Swansea, where we beat them 6-0 in the FA Cup 4th round. Matthew Lewis grabbing 4. Incredible, I know. So anyway, today we have a live com episode, and the reason this is a good live com episode, and a special one I guess, is because we're going to be taking on Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United and Arsenal. Now, these are the games which will probably make or break our season in terms of determining where we can finish and how we get on. So obviously we have United who are top, we have Chelsea who are 3rd, we have Liverpool who are 5th, and then we have Arsenal who are really underperforming in 10th. Where I expect us to be after these results is anyone's guess. We've done a very good job in terms of putting ourselves in a good position for potential Champions League football with 16 games left. We've not slipped up against too many of the teams below us, obviously, the exception of that really being QPR. And following on from these 3 games, it gives us quite a friendly run in, I guess, to the end of the season, with only really Man City and Stoke, who are a bit of an odd team to say there, but they're the only 2 teams really who we have after this run of results who are right up there in the table. So anyway, just looking at the player stats, you may have noticed here, Matthew Lewis, top goal scorer in the league with 26 goals. Worth noting that Ongender is up there as well, 24 for him. He's scoring more than a goal a game too. Kind of rare to see 2 strikers in that kind of form, but they're certainly going to be battling it out, I guess, for the top goal scorer kind of accolade. Looking at the assists, you can see there Joe Allen with 9 for us. He's doing very well, and you can see actually Carlos Leon there, and the shots on target ratio really high, but he's also really high in the key passes department. The midfielder is really pulling the strings. However, he broke his ankle and he's out for 3 months, so that's a massive miss, and we've got a few kind of squad issues I guess to talk about, so we'll talk about them. So Batageli's injured, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks with a twisted ankle still. Sonogo went away to the African Cup of Nations and bruised his head, and he's actually come back prematurely to I guess recover from that. As a result, I don't think he's going to be going back out on international duty, because it seems like he's returned to the club. So we're going to get him back a little bit sooner than planned, but obviously we do have a fair few African players in our team, and as you can see looking at it here, Ihi Nacho, Sheyoju, Kuaku and Mafembu all on international duty, which is a massive issue. They're all at the African Cup of Nations, and they kind of make up a lot of our squad depth, so that was a little bit of a worry, and that does mean as a result that we are relying on Lucas Barrios in goal for these big games. You know, he's not an incredible goalkeeper, so this is going to be a real challenge for him, but it's an opportunity I guess for him to really perform and show people what he's all about. As a result, as you can see as well, we have very limited sub options. Looking at these games, they are going to be over quite a tight period of time really. We've got basically midweek games galore. It's 4 huge games. Because of the lack of squad depth, rotation may be important, but I am going to be prioritising the Liverpool, Chelsea and Manchester United games. Obviously Arsenal are in 10th, so that's a game that perhaps we can maybe afford to play a weaker team to. I guess some people could argue the logic should be to preserve your players for the games you think are winnable, but really I feel like all these games are winnable. You know, we're 4th in the league, we're performing really well. Hopefully we can step things up, although obviously we are missing some huge players in Batageli, Sonogo and Juan Carlos Leon. You may notice, look at the squad, a lot of players wanted. We've not long left of the transfer window. We've managed to keep hold of a lot of our key players, which is good, and I'm hoping that they're going to stay happy. The only kind of, I guess, big player to speak of who is coming in is actually coming in at the end of his contract. Obviously, you know, it's that time of year where you can afford to sign players on frees. And as a result, we are trying to sign Alexander Haas, the German international who actually won the World Cup with Germany, and when he's joining us from Sevilla. He's a good player. It's a bit of a punt, but we are getting him on a free transfer, obviously. He's coming in on about 80 grand a week, which is a pretty big wage. Obviously, he looks like a very good striker. Really, his attributes kind of make me think he'd actually make a better inside forward, but obviously that doesn't really fit our system. But all in all, I'm very happy with this guy. He's actually out with a double hernia. His big weaknesses are his performance consistency and his injury proneness, which are concerns, but he's a player who we're getting in basically on a free. Upon agreeing to sign for us, it's worth noting that I then tried to use the buy now option to get him in immediately, and Sevilla wanted £20 million for him. So clearly he's a player who they still heavily value. As you can see, they now want £16 million for him. But he's going to be joining us at the start of next season, and I'm very excited to have him here, and I'm hoping that his injury woes that he's going through, he's going to be able to put behind him. So anyway, let's get into this first game. I think I'm actually going to cut between games just to keep things fresh and keep things kind of moving this episode, obviously, because it's January time as well. Transfer deadline day is going to take a while, so that's not going to be pleasurable viewing. But hopefully we can get things off to a great start here. Looking at our team, obviously, Joe Allen doing really well this year, you know, really high in the assist charts. Not the youngest player anymore at 32, but he's been really picking up passes and he's been playing pretty well for us. So he's a player who perhaps I didn't expect to be as important as he is, but he certainly is very vital in our system. Elsewhere, it's a pretty standard team. We're going to go with Reitmeier, I think, and Harayan in midfield. Reitmeier, obviously, the German centre-back. According to my assistant, he thinks that he's kind of reached close to his full potential. Obviously, he's a big player, a leading player in Premier League sides, apparently. Don't necessarily agree with that assessment, but he is a very good player at our level, and he's very, very good in the air. But anyway, let's submit this squad. Lucas Imber, get a squad number, son, because you are going to be on the bench. Going to be a tricky game, obviously. Liverpool have been a bit of a bogey team for us. We've not performed that great against them, but I'm hoping that we can maybe carry a little bit of the momentum from our recent great form. You know, we've picked up a lot of easier wins against smaller Premier League sides. We've looked to, I guess, convert those wins into momentum, and morale is high in the camp, and I'm now hoping that we can kind of keep that going into this tough run of fixtures. As I said right at the start, I do feel as if these 4 games are really going to define our season. It's going to be the difference between perhaps challenging for the top 4 or on the flip side really struggling. That said, I wouldn't say I'm going in with massive expectations. Obviously, earlier on in the season, right at the start, when we had to play these same fixtures, we did struggle. There's no denying that. And so I am very conscious of the fact that our hopes and dreams may just be absolutely smashed to pieces this game. But that said, I'm hoping that we can at least be competitive in these games and kind of prove that perhaps we are a top 4 team in the making. Because I don't think we're quite there yet, but the way we've been playing, we've certainly been edging close to, I guess, that kind of goal. But anyway, Origi on the attack here for Liverpool. Good tackle by Harayan. Can we break away here? Matthew Lewis, we're going to be relying on you for a lot of our goals. It's worth noting that he is obviously our league top goal scorer, and a few players have stepped up. Nacho obviously going away to the AFCON is a massive miss for us as we gift them the ball there, but Barrios with a great save. But yeah, of all the players who have gone to the African Cup of Nations, I'd actually say that Nacho is going to be the biggest miss, just because the striker was starting to really find some form. He was banging in a fair few goals. He was really playing a good support role alongside Matthew Lewis in terms of contributing in his own way. Obviously, we've still got Manuel Jesus, who's playing very well for us when we have given him a chance, but I still don't feel kind of 100% convinced by his capabilities in the side, as Barrios makes another save. The goalkeeper is looking unbeatable today. That is 2 great saves by him. Liverpool finding their way through our team twice, but both times he has, I guess, stood firm and been a titan between the sticks. Anyway, at half time, it looks like it's going to be 0-0 here. I want to say it's been a boring game. I'm sure if you're a Liverpool fan, there'd be hopes to take and expectations, and I guess they've had the better of it. If I was a fan of them watching this performance, obviously 2 clear-cut chances, perhaps feeling a little bit hard done by not to be in the lead, but we do still find ourselves in it. Obviously, we are the smaller team. We have to ride our luck, although Origi and Barrios with another save. Take a bow, son. Straight from kickoff. Not the best sign, really, but nevertheless, a great save by him there. Barrios single-handedly keeping us in this game. And with 30 minutes left, a draw would not necessarily be the worst result. As I mentioned, Liverpool have been a big, I don't want to say a bogey team, because I kind of feel like a bogey team is a team that you really should win and beat on paper, but just don't seem to be able to. But certainly Liverpool have been one of the few big teams in this league that we've never got a win against before. Though we have a chance here. Matthew Lewis, the rebound cleared out for a corner. That was our opportunity to find a lead with 20 minutes left. We're still doing okay. Is anyone really struggling for fitness? Suarez is struggling in a centre attacking mid. We're going to move China up into that more attacking role. And then I am going to, I guess, what am I going to do? We're going to bring on Imbert. We're going to bring on Imbert to play, although I am going to move Joe Allen to roaming playmaker. Not necessarily a role you'd immediately associate Joe Allen with, but he's been a good creative outlet this year, and he is the best option we have due to the players that we have out. You may have noticed that Casemiro's loan has been terminated. He wanted to move on, which is fair enough. I am maybe looking to bring in 1 or 2 late transfer dealings. Rakitic is available from Barcelona. I don't know what his wage demands are going to be just yet, but he's a player who's kind of on the radar as a maybe. But really, I'm quite happy with the balance of our squad. And there's a late chance here. Imbert! What a goal by the sub. 20 yards out, a wonder goal to make it 1-0 in the 90th minute. And surely we are about to rescue and gain what would be an incredible 3 points. The ball here, Joe Allen, Imbert on the volley. What a hit. What a hit, son. Keeper has absolutely no chance. Liverpool with a late set piece here, though, and they head it over. And we have just defied the cricket. I was about to say defied the crickets, but no, the critics who maybe doubted us here and thought that we couldn't do that well. Well, that's a great win. Obviously, the last kind of massive win we got against a big team was against Manchester United, who are top of the league, and that is a result that we are going to have to mimic again in this episode. So I guess really stand a chance. But anyway, as I mentioned, I am going to skip forward to the next game, which is on the 1st. I'm not sure if that's before or after deadline day, but because that can take a long time to process, I need to kind of not live-com that, or else I'm going to be stood for 10 minutes looking at a loading screen. But that's going to be a game against Chelsea, so I will be back with you guys in just a second. Okay guys, so we are back. As you can see, 1st of February, we have gotten past deadline day, and it's now time to take on Chelsea. But before that, we have to actually talk about what's happened since the Liverpool game. I know, 2 days, not a lot can happen, But I'll tell you what has happened. Matthew Lewis has tried to start a bloody mutiny. Everyone wanted a team meeting because he wanted to move and play in the Champions League, and now he feels alienated. But now he's delighted with my response to the fact I said I had the situation under control with him. So there's that. He wants to play in the Champions League. We do have a chance to maybe achieve that this year. Obviously, the next 3 games are going to be instrumental in if that's attainable or not. But yeah, he wants to play in the Champions League. I want to play in the Champions League. Fortunately, we had a pretty good team meeting, etc., and managed to keep the situation under control. So morale is still fairly happy, except with, I guess, Matthew Lewis. But yeah, things are going quite well. Maybe I should do a team meeting because morale isn't perfect. So let's tell the players I'm delighted. Excellent, they're loving it. Right, anyway, so yeah, we're going to kick off with the Chelsea game. We've then got the United and Arsenal game. Since we've gone past deadline day and there's not going to be too much news item wise or just kind of processing times wise to wait through, we're just going to kind of continue on, I guess. Worth noting, I did actually make one loan signing. I managed to get in Jack Wilshere, who I actually forgot I had available for the last game. I just hadn't registered him. But he's in the side. As I mentioned, we were kind of lacking maybe a backup centre mid, and that was why Joe Allen had to play that roaming playmaker role. But now that we have Wilshere in the side, we have kind of an option there, I guess. I didn't really talk about Imbert much either. Obviously, he's the player who got the wonder goal, I guess you could say, for us. And he's doing okay. He's playing well. He went on loan last year, obviously. He joined us for a cheap price. Didn't really wow me, but got a massive goal, obviously, in the last game, which was an absolute screamer. So he's doing okay. Suarez, we're going to continue with the club record transfer, who just isn't performing. He's had a few injuries this year. He's played 10 games, a 6.47 average rating, and it's looking like a waste of money, really. And another player, I guess, in a slightly similar boat is Roberto, who, of course, is the kind of prospect, the 18-year-old who we signed for £10 million. And again, a player just hasn't really performed. We spent $30 million on 2 players, and neither of them's really look like they're going to be, I guess, a valuable return on the investment, which is definitely a worry. And perhaps 2 of the most glaringly obvious mistakes I've made so far on this save, if I'm honest. I'm calling them mistakes. That's how bad they've been. There's still time for them to turn it around, of course. But anyway, let's get into today's game. We're going to play a similar team to last time out. Gaston Romero out on the right, Harayan, Reitmeier, Pedrera. Mullen wants to start in goal ahead of Barrios. You know what? That's not happening. Barrios had a great game against Liverpool. For a second I was like, you know what? We're going to play Mullen. Mullen's played a game every single season of this save so far. He hasn't played one this year. I will try and squeeze him into our game at some point. He did play in the Cup, I guess, but he's played a league game in every single division, which is kind of impressive. But yeah, he's not really the player he once was, put it that way. He's peaked. He's at his maximum potential, I believe. He's not improved in years. But he's a good player, and I like having him in the changing room. Anyway, let's submit this squad. Jack Wilshere going to be given a start here. It'll be interesting to see how he kind of handles this situation. In on loan. Big game against, obviously, Chelsea. On gender, the big scare here. As I mentioned, he's scored almost as many as Matthew Lewis has. This is going to be a big game, of course. A great win last time out against Liverpool. Slightly against the run of play. We rode our luck, but it's our first win against Liverpool. And today, we are looking to kind of keep that going even further, as we are going to be taking on Chelsea here, who I believe sit in 3rd or 2nd in the league. Let's just have a quick check. Apparently, the league table's showing. It's definitely not showing game. But I think they're 3rd, or they might be 2nd. They're 3rd or 2nd. The bottom line is they're ahead of us in the league and we need to win, but they're not top. And we have a set piece here. Lewis whips it in. It's dealt with, though. And no one on our team really reacts to that. And now Chelsea looking to hit us on the break. Lucas Romero, one of my favourite players in FM, with the ball in. On genders through. Barrios with another save. I'll tell you what, he is a goalkeeper in form right now. He has been great for us. And yeah, he continues to be great for us. He's been performing superbly of late. And he's kept us in the game. I say kept us in the game. We're not exactly losing, but certainly helped us preserve what we have in terms of a clean sheet. Although, another chance here. Chelsea on the attack, not for the first time this half. Ham's there. Can he go ham in the box? He can't, but Joe Allen's going to foul him. And is this on gender? No, Berardi with a chance to make it 1-0 to Chelsea. A tough game here for us at Stamford Bridge. Can the keeper go huge? He can't this time. Berardi beats Barrios from the spot, and Chelsea take what you'd have to say is a deserved 1-0 lead here. Obviously, we've not started this game the way I wanted to. Chelsea have come out the blocks, they've played really well. We're not looking superb, and I'm going to make a few kind of changes. I don't want to make changes too soon, but at the same time, I kind of feel like there's a time and a place where you have to kind of bite a bullet and maybe change some things. So we're actually going to make an odd change here. We're going to move Matthew Lewis to centre mid, and we're going to try and hit them on the break, because why not? So deeper, going more direct. Matthew Lewis playing an odd centre mid position, a position that he's always been competent in, but we've never really utilised. Going more conservative, but perhaps looking to hit Chelsea on the break. We'll see how that goes. Eden Hazard with an effort, Barrios with a good save, however, to keep the deficit at 1 goal. But yeah, changing the system. I don't think the change. Well, actually, no, the changes have happened. Matthew Lewis playing the number 9 role. Not number 9 role, but wearing the number 9 in his new role. Can we go on the attack here? Soares, the Brazilian who I'm waiting to perform. If he could get a goal now, all would be forgiven. Well, most of it would be forgiven. He still would only have scored 1 in 11, which is bloody awful for a player who cost 20 million and has been injured a lot. Although, Ongenda on the attack. Ongenda with the goal, squeezes it in for Chelsea. His 31st goal of the season. Barrios beaten at the near post. It was a great little finish, however. Can't blame the keeper too much. He saved a lot tougher chances there, but Ongenda on the turn. Barrios' position perhaps can be called into question a little bit, but it was so well placed into that top corner that I never really can expect him to get there. And I think that's going to be all she wrote for the first half. No, it's not. That's a lie. There's a chance. Manuel Jesus whips it in. No one there. Can Soares chase it? No, he can't. No, he cannot. But with 1 minute left, we still do have possession. Can we get a goal here? A goal here would change my half-time team talk. It would give me hope going into the second half to really encourage the players. Manuel Jesus misses a sitter. Clear-cut chance. One-on-one with the keeper. Just passes it gratefully into the keeper's arms, and the keeper is loving it. So let's tell the players they've not been good enough. We owe Chelsea after what happened last time out. You weren't bad. I've got faith in you all. We beat Chelsea a few years ago. Last time we played them, I can't remember what the result was, but I remember them beating us and it was painful and I cried a little afterwards. And right now they're 2-0 up here at home, and this is a tricky situation. But can we do a Bradford? That is kind of the question right now. Can we come back from 2 goals behind and get a win? Obviously, we changed our system a little bit. Chelsea on the attack, near post corner, and Matthew Lewis scores an own goal. Well, it's not our day, is it? I think that's got to be the bottom line. It's just not our day. Might as well go on the attack now. Let's bring on Imbert. I'm going to bring on Roberto to replace Soares, who's been really poor. Might as well give Roberto a chance to maybe get a goal, get some confidence back in him. But yeah, not good. Not good at all. Chelsea, they have been the better team. They've got another set piece here. Ball whipped in. Can we deal with this one? Ongenda at the edge of the area. The top goal scorer charging through. And Imbert fouls him, and that's going to be a penalty. And Berardi with a chance to score his second goal of the game, his second from the 12-yard, or not the 12-yard spot, the penalty spot that's 10 yards out. Is it 10 yards out? Who knows? Answers on a postcard. Either way. In fact, no, the penalty spot is 12 yards out, Jack. You are mad. Well, it doesn't matter. We're losing 4-0. We might as well start questioning the distance of the penalty spot at this point. It's all gone horribly wrong here. Obviously, we've gone more attacking. We've gone to chase it. And Chelsea are putting us to the sword. And really, anyone with any degree of common sense at this point would start parking the bus and really hoping that it's all going to end soon. But Romero's going to make it 5. And after what was a great win last time out, this is going to muller the confidence. Is that a word? It's definitely going to impact our confidence. 5-0 down. Time to park the bus. Time to try and be defensive. Lucas Romero there with a good effort. Barrios, perhaps a little bit disappointing in goal. But that real turning point was at the end of the second half where we had a chance to cut down the deficit to 2-1. And obviously Jesus kicked it straight at the goalkeeper. That hurt us. That impacted us. I mean, a consolation goal here is going to be little consolation. I guess there's nothing wrong with trying to pad out the stats with a few goals for our players if possible. And goal difference, I guess, could be important at the end of the day. I say this as someone who went on attack and conceded an extra 2 or 3 goals, so I really can't be the one to talk about preserving goal differences. Now, Chelsea on the attack again. Let's just keep it to 5. I'd almost be happy if we kept it to 5 because they are looking lethal right now. So on the attack, Barrios there with a save. Well, Barrios hasn't performed badly. He's not performed great, and the average ratings across the board have been absolutely abysmal for our team. The fact that our goalkeeper has one of the best average ratings, considering he's conceded 5, really gives you an idea and an indication as to how poor this game has been for us. China taking a knock, so we will just take him off. Better to be safe than sorry. Time is slipping away here. It's all going to be over soon, and now we do have to look forward and onwards and upwards towards the Manchester United game against Arsenal. The Manchester United game and the one against Arsenal, because they are suddenly going to be big games for us to perhaps get our confidence built back up. We can't afford to do what we did at the start of the season against these teams in these similar results and get defeated by teams who, let's face it, should be beating us every day of the week. Perhaps not by 5 goals, but should be beating us. We can't afford for that morale to drop. We need to keep it high. We need to try and avoid consecutive defeats, particularly with that Arsenal game coming up at the end of the result. But anyway, that result sees us keep 4th, actually. Because we beat Liverpool, we actually have a really nice cushion. I did not realise it was quite that big. We are 7 points clear of Liverpool. That win against them was really the big result, I guess. If we could beat Manchester United in the next game, we'd actually only be 4 points off the top of the table, which is just ludicrous to even think about. And I'm not considering the fact that we could win the title. But it's worth acknowledging that if we were to win our next game, we'd be as close to the teams at the top of the table as we would be to the team directly behind us. But anyway, what you can see here is our Europa League knockout stage kind of squad selection. Obviously, that's something I have got to look forward to, and you guys can obviously expect that next episode will be the games in that competition, as we will be taking on CSKA Moscow. I don't think I mentioned that, but we got drawn against them in the knockout stage. So, in case you didn't know that's a thing at this point in time. We do have the FA Cup 5th round against Tottenham. Not going to live-com that. We did beat them 7-2 last time out in the league. So, a game that I expect us to win. But given the kind of amount of key games, I guess, piling up, what's the word I'm looking for? I've just seen the news on screen and I'm delighted and my brain has stopped functioning. Let's not worry about what I was just talking about. Matthew Lewis has revealed he's now happy to stay at the Lewis Stadium. He previously expressed doubts about being at the club, but with continental qualification now looking extremely likely, he wants to stay on. I'm very delighted about that. Obviously, he's seen the light, he's seen the cushion we have over Liverpool with 14 games left, and he's got the faith in the team, and I have the faith if he has the faith. He's the difference maker. If we were to lose him, it would be disastrous. There is no kind of two ways about it. He has single-handedly carried this team throughout this save at various kind of points in time. And this is another kind of period, I guess, in the club's kind of I want to say turmoil, that's not the right word, but in the club's kind of evolution, where we need him to be performing to his very best. Anyway, Chelsea to take on Norwich in the first game. They beat them 4-2. That doesn't make me feel too much better about the fact we got absolutely walloped by Chelsea, but we have to look at today's game and take things as they come. Looking at it, players are still away on international duty. Sonogo is out on international duty, even though it didn't show it, so that's a shame. Looking at the team, I'm pretty happy with the squad that we have, although my assistant still wants to play Mullen ahead of Barrios, which I don't agree with. Despite the fact Barrios conceded as many as he did, I'm going to keep the faith. I'm going to bring in actually and let Corrace and Insua play today rather than Harayan, who had a really poor game. Actually, look at the rating there, that was pretty disappointing. And also Romero, who had another poor game. Obviously, a lot of players had poor games. It'd be wrong to kind of identify them as the sole reason we lost, but certainly those guys not turning up hurt us. But anyway, looking at the team as a whole, we're looking fairly good here. Obviously, Matthew Lewis's confidence is still abysmal, which is a little bit of a shame, and that's his morale, not his confidence, but that's not great. But yeah, all in all, things are looking pretty decent. So we're going to stick with our 4-3-1-2 system. Obviously, a few changes here. Playing with the ball in midfielder, centre mid support, but with run wider with ball. China with run wider with ball, the roaming playmaker. Wing backs offering perhaps a little bit of options out wide, although I don't want them overlapping too frequently. And in the final third, Matthew Lewis and Manuel Jesus playing up top with Suarez in behind. Looking at Manchester United side, a front line of Januzaj, Depay and Zaha is absolutely bloody terrifying. And then they still have Rafael, Jones and De Gea, obviously in the midfield area. So they've got some big players. This is not going to be an easy game. They are top of the table, United. Although, last time we played them, we beat them 2-1, and that was in another live com. So we've done it before, but playing them at Old Trafford is a kind of a whole different beast. You know, United are a team who can be unbeatable at home on their day. So it's going to be tricky, but we need to improve from last time out. And Depay with a very early opportunity there for Manchester United. Not the start I was looking for, perhaps you could say, them going on the attack like that. But we'll see how we get on here. I'm going to stick with our attacking system. It's the system that worked against United last time we played them, obviously against Chelsea. Chelsea really kind of broke us down. They scored, they beat us into the ground, into a bloody pulp. I'm hoping for less of that today because we are going to need to be better defensively. And a chance here. Florenzi, Carrace, what a header off the line by the right back. He just sprung out of nowhere to get rid of that. And we live to fight another day. And maybe even a chance of our own here. Unfortunately not. That's going to be dealt with. Although United back on the attack. Januzaj running through. Ball hits the post and it's dealt with. And United probably should be 1-0 up. Two real opportunities to go ahead. A good initial header off the line by Carrace. And then the second chance came out. And they probably should have scored. But 30 minutes in, it's still even. But United are really outplaying us right now. Paul Scholes picks up a knock against United. Obviously, the former United player, our regen Paul Scholes. Obviously, it's not the Paul Scholes. I almost want to play the system that I played last game, but I know that really didn't work. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to sit quite defensively and look to hit them on the break. I kind of want to try something that I've seen a few other FM YouTubers try when they play three up front, and we're going to play with 3 false nines. We're going to try something different, I guess you could say. We'll bring Joe Allen into the more defensive role. We'll bring in Wiltshire at deep line playmaker, play China as a centre mid defend. But the big change is going to be in the final third with these kind of 3 strikers. What can they do? You know, I'm looking for a change, I guess, in how they perform. So I want my middleman to roam from position. I want my next man to run wide with the ball and roam with the ball and close down much more. We need these midfielders, not these midfielders, these strikers to really apply the pressure in the final third. I'm going to be asking a lot of them here to really, I guess, close down. But this is how we're going to play. We're going to play direct. We're going to be pumping the ball up to our men out wide. We're going to play with the fullbacks on support as well, just to maybe get a few more men forward in the attack. But we're taking a gamble, trying something we've not used. A Matthew Lewis maybe with a chance here. Initial ball doesn't find its way in, but he has got the ball again at the edge of the area. Right, Myers there, China, Wiltshire. Nice probing play here at the edge of the area, but we need an end product, and that is the end product. Matthew Lewis, what a strike, what a goal. His 37th goal of the year comes 37 minutes in. What a goal that was. He rifles it into the top corner in the pouring rain here at Old Trafford. Suarez plays it inside. Matthew Lewis on that left foot of his first time. Bang. Pick that out, De Gea. Absolutely no chance. And I want to claim tactical wizardry. Really, it came from a set piece, but perhaps you know, our front 3 really can make a difference here. Looking at it, looks like it's going to be all even going into half time. I don't know how, because United have been by far and away the better team, but we are playing well. We're the underdogs. Teams come to Old Trafford and they roll on their back and they surrender. They do the same at Stamford Bridge, and we are one of those teams. But here at Old Trafford, we are putting up a resistance of sorts. And now I'm looking for us to continue that going into this second half, as we are going to be playing that same system that we left off the half with. I almost want to switch to counter, and I'm very tempted to do so potentially. Oh, what a finish that is by Roberto for United. Can't have a complaint about that. I think he's just bent that in there. Yeah, let's switch to counter. But looking at this goal, Depay just lays it inside, and then it's just Roberto just places it. Perhaps the keeper should do better. Maybe Kouakou saves that on his day, but unfortunately we can't talk about the ifs and buts. Obviously, we are missing some massive players, so to get any results in these 4 games would be huge. Obviously, the defeat against Chelsea was painful. The win against Liverpool was huge, considering that we don't have players like Juan Carlos Leon, we don't have Sonogo, we don't have various names. It hurts us, although United on the attack here. Zaha, saved by Barrios. Depay with the rebound though, and Manchester United do make it. They do make it 2-1. Unfortunately for us, the rebound going in. I'm skipping the highlight. I don't want to witness it again. And we're 2-1 down with half an hour left. Let's go on attack. Let's really try and push up here. Although United with another effort. Good tackle. Let's not give away a penalty. Gave away 2 in our last game. Good tackle there. Can we now hit on the break? That is the question. And the answer is no, we cannot. As United keep the pressure up. Wilshere though with a good tackle. Matthew Lewis. Jesus, can we break? Can we break? Wilshere. Matthew Lewis with a chance there. What a finish. 2-2. Take a bow. That's his 2nd goal of the game. United want him. They cannot have him. A great ball here by Jesus, a player who... Oh no, Wilshere, sorry. Wilshere with the ball in. I thought it was Jesus, but Wilshere with a cheeky dink through on Lewis. Just uses his pace to spring away, break the offside trap, looking to hit them on the counter, and it worked wonders for us there. But anyway, looking at it, a 2-2 would be huge. 15 minutes left. I'm sticking with attack. Both times we've played on attack, we've scored. When we've played on defence and tried to defend our lead, we've conceded. Although Kouakou there with a knock. Let's bring in Mafembu. China's pretty tied in centre mid. I don't really have an option. I mean, my option is to bring on Mitchell, the German centre mid, who... yeah, he's very young. He wouldn't play normally, but because of, and he wouldn't even be on the bench normally, but because of obviously the issues with players being injured, being on international duty, he is on the bench for us. I don't have faith in him. I'm sorry, Mitchell. You're too young for this kind of game, but 2-2 here would be a great result against United, who are top, and time is ticking away. But there's a late chance here. Wilshere, Manuel Jesus, Lewis. Could we grab a goal? Suarez, shot blocked. And now they're on the attack. Just foul him. Just foul him if you need to, boys. Where's the defensive shape gone? Depay smashes it over and gives us a second life. And there's 15 seconds left for us to hold on. Just get the ball clear and that's game over. Get the ball clear and it's game over. United still have the ball. This is not going to be comfortable until the final whistle goes. Zaha, what a block. Who was that by? Pedrera. It must have been at left back. It was 2-2. What a result that is, boys. Everyone thought they'd beat us. They're top of the league. They've only lost 3 games all year, but we've just got a huge point against Manchester United. And going into their last game of this live come against Arsenal, we've got the 4 points, which I guess I was hoping for. I don't think I really talked about it, but with the results and the games that we had, I was hoping for 4 points from these 4 games, maybe 5 at a push. And obviously we've got 4 points so far. We beat Liverpool, we drew against United away, which is a massive result. If we look at the league table, how has United's home form been? I can only assume it's been second to none. We want the table, Jack. And then if we go to home record, you can see United, they'd only been beaten once at home prior to that, and we got our the first draw at Old Trafford, so that's a huge result for us there. But all in all, we are playing great, and very happy with that. Looking at our away form kind of lets us down, but at home, 4th best team, we've been playing pretty well there. Look at the overall league table, you can see that we have scored 59 goals for, 39 against. Defensively, we've never been the greatest team, really, have we? It is a bit of a concern how average our defence is. It's a mid-table kind of defence, but in terms of goal scoring, teams just don't stop us scoring. We have such a good attacking prowess. Obviously, Matthew Lewis, testament to that in that last game with his 2 goals he scored against United. But anyway, last game of this live com, going to be against Arsenal. They're 11th in the league. They're really underperforming. perhaps a chance to get 3 points. This is the game that of the 4 I perhaps thought we had the biggest chance in, but it's not going to be easy. I don't think any of our players are going to be back from international duty either, which is a massive shame. Obviously, the African Cup of Nations has significantly weakened our side. Combine that with the fact that players like Juan Carlos Leon are obviously injured at the moment. It's a big miss for us, although actually Sonogo's back, and that will mean that Kouakou's back. So clearly Ivory Coast got knocked out. Unfortunately for us, Nigeria is still in the African Cup of Nations. So they must have made it through. They're in the semi-final. If we look at the fixtures, yeah, you can see what's going on here. If we go to... I'm trying to find a link here to the Ivory Coast. If we take a look at Ivory Coast here, not Doumbia, I want the Ivory Coast. There we go. You can see that they lost in the quarter-final 1-0 against Ghana. So that actual result is a blessing to us. It means that Sonogo and Kouakou are back for the last game of this live con, which is pretty pleasing. I didn't expect them to perhaps to have them back as soon as we do. Ivory Coast, with the players that they've got, one of the best kind of teams in the world. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. I really should have looked at these results more. Can we look at the results for the previous day? United won, City won. The big one's Liverpool, really. Liverpool are the team to look at, and they lost. So that's a good result for us. Stoke drew as well. So that's a very good set of results for us. And you can see with the same amount of games played as us, Liverpool are 5 points behind. Obviously, a chance here to win this game against Arsenal, who are in 11th, have played a game more and obviously be 8 points clear, which would be very big for us. But anyway, we'll see how we get on here. Kevin Friend going to be officiating this game. It's on the Wednesday night. Carrace is out injured. He's out for 10 days to 2 weeks, so that could be worse, I guessed. Looking at the team, Sonogo's really tired from international duty, but Kouakou can just slot straight back in where he left off. Elsewhere in the team, pretty happy with the squad that we have kind of in total. Pedrera I want to play, however. I don't know why Mafembu would want to start, other than the fact that our assistant's an idiot at times, which is the case, so that would explain it. But yeah, elsewhere we're going to stick with the same system as before. We're at home against Arsenal. They can move up to 10th if they win. If we win, we can extend our lead obviously over Liverpool in 5th, which would be a massive game for us. So let's say that we owe Arsenal after last game. I have faith in you guys. If we could get a win here, or even just avoid defeat, it would be a great kind of live com, I guess, in terms of the results, because these are some really tough games. I kind of went into these games fearful that perhaps we'd just get spanked in every game. Obviously, that's not quite what happened earlier on in the year, but it was pretty close to that. You know, we didn't win any of these games. We got off to a really rocky start. However, we've started to play some, I guess, lesser teams in the league and slowly kind of kept winning, and that's benefited us a lot. Unfortunately, however, China's got injured. I'm going to have to play Sonogo, who isn't going to last the full game at 100% fitness. You can see a lot of our players struggling, to be fair, just because of the amount of fixtures we've played. Arsenal will be in a similar boat, however, but I am a little bit kind of annoyed at the fact we have to play Sonogo here, because obviously he played on international duty. But yeah, we'll see how we get on here. Obviously, Arsenal's struggling in 11th, so we need to win this really. Isco, good save there. Can we get rid of it? Harayan with the effort. So really, the reason that we've been able to do so well this year is because, obviously, we're playing well as a team, but Arsenal, who finished top 4 kind of last few years, have struggled. Liverpool, obviously, struggling themselves. Obviously, we beat them. They lost at Norwich in their last game. And we've just been largely consistent against the smaller teams in the Premier League. There's not been too many slip-ups. Obviously, the QPR result was one of those where we lost 1-0. But a win here would be big for us. Obviously, it's a bit deceptive to just look at Arsenal and kind of disregard them because of their league finish and because of where they are in the league. Because in reality, they have a very, very good squad with players like Welbeck and Isco. And we can't really afford to underestimate them. Unfortunately for us, however, we've got injuries galore. Obviously, we're playing a lot of tired players that I otherwise wouldn't like to play, but because of the squad depth situation, due to just all the fixtures we've had, and then obviously international duties and injuries and the likes, and obviously Europe as well has kind of taken a toll. Obviously, we've not had fixtures in that lately, but that has hit us. Players are tired, and when players are tired and you're playing them in these kind of games, kind of a 4th game in 2 weeks basically, there's always a risk that you're going to see injuries. We've just got to hope that those two are the only two we come away with and that they're nothing serious, as Welbeck scores for Arsenal to make it 1-0. And you'd have to say, looking at the stats, it's been a close game, but all our shots have been from range. We've been largely ineffective, I guess, in the final third. And that goal there for Arsenal, a good little goal for them. If we could get a goal now before half-time, that would be big. Suarez, Manuel Jesus, options in the middle. Can he whip it in to Allen? Romero, back post if you want it. Back out wide. Time ticking away here. There's still 2 minutes left though of this extra time. Can we craft out an opportunity, or are we going to be hit on the break? Still with possession. Lewis, the ball booted up by Arsenal. Grealish now on the ball. That's a big ball to Welbeck. He's fast. Can he get through? Tackle missed as well by, was that right, Mino? It was in Sewer. And Arsenal hold on to a well-earned lead at the break. I'm going to tell the players to show a bit more desire, show some wanting and willingness to work hard to win this game. At the moment, we're not having many chances. We're not doing a lot. I'm going to go and play a free up front system again. I'm not going to play with the false nines this time, but we're going to move Suarez into a deep line forward. In fact, no, let's play him at false nine support. So, looking for him to drop off and also give our players ahead of him just a little bit more room to kind of, I guess, play into. We'll see how this goes for us. On the attack here, Lewis whips it in. Suarez! He scores! He doesn't score many, Suarez, but he's got his third goal of the season there. A quick change in role, moving him into the final third. And that change has an instant impact on us as the ball is whipped in by Matthew Lewis. And Suarez, one touch, hits it on the right foot of his. And really, the Argentine in goal really should be doing better there for Arsenal. Although Arsenal immediately on the attack, could they just crush our hopes and dreams? No, they cannot. Kouakou there with a good save. Good to see him back in goal for us. And now another chance. Suddenly this game has opened up. Manuel Jesus whips it in. Suarez side netting. And he can't bury it the second time of asking. The Brazilian signed for £20 million. If he could make an impact being moved into the striker position here, he'd be worth all the money. Well, not quite actually. He wouldn't be worth 20 million, but he'd give me hope going forward as he will win a header there. It's no go with the effort, however. Welbeck will come away with the ball here. And Arsenal looking to hit us on the break. Playing free up front now. You know, we're throwing a few more men forward. We're leaving ourselves perhaps a little bit more exposed at the back. And Arsenal trying to make the most of that, I guess you could say, as Welbeck has a chance. Kouakou parries it wide. What a save that was. A real opportunity for Welbeck there. And looking at it, Arsenal, 4 clear-cut chances, only the 1 goal. They've been really poor. They've been really poor, though they're on the attack again. We are throwing men forward and kind of being caught out at this moment in time as Grealish will try and carry the ball forward. Cousins there, carrying a knock. Kongolo, Welbeck with another opportunity and another save by Kouakou. What could you say? Who else? So anyway, we're going to go more direct and drop a little bit deeper. I'm conscious of the fact Arsenal are playing a lot of balls in behind and our back four are pushing perhaps a little bit too high up, so I want them to sit deeper. On top of that, I want us to be more direct in removing our attacking midfielder in Suarez and playing him as a striker. We kind of lose that man who's responsible for carrying the ball between phases of play. So we're going to try and, I guess, counteract that by playing more direct, trying to, you know, get the ball up to our front men a little bit quicker. And obviously with a less kind of creative midfielder available and with one extra striker, we need to make the most of getting it into that final third. But anyway, we're on the attack here. Scholes, Pereira, can he whip in the ball? He can. Lewis is there. Suarez, Scholes hits the crossbar and it will be cleared by Kongolo. And since our tactical change, we are piling on some pressure. You'd have to say we've definitely upped our game. Arsenal having a few chances themselves, but before we made our changes, we were looking a lot less attacking and a lot less threatening ourselves. And suddenly this game feels like it could go either way. As now Arsenal on the attack and Paul Scholes gives away a penalty. Not for the first time this episode we give away a penalty. They could really single-handedly lose us the game. Although Isco with it here buries it, and that's really frustrating because in a game where we've slowly looked to get back into it and certainly had our own opportunities, we commit a silly foul. Paul Scholes there, really disappointing by him. And ultimately Isco bangs it in from the spot to make it 2-1 to Arsenal. And we are now chasing this game. We've got to go more attacking at some point. Although, to be honest, there isn't a lot more I can do in terms of changing our system. I think the way we're going to have to do this is by going to centre mid attack. Sonogo's going to go to advanced playmaker attack. I'm also going to drop Allen into a more defensive role, but still a ball winner, so he's still going to hunt down the player, I guess you could say, when we don't have the ball. But you know, we've got to throw a few men forward at this point. We've not got that many options on off the bench, so I think we're just going to stick with what we've got here. Players aren't necessarily performing bad. Certainly got some tired legs, however, in the midfield. But we haven't got the options off the bench to really change too much about it. So let's push higher up, close down much more. We're going for this now. We are really going for it. 10 minutes left. We have a chance here potentially. Scholes, big ball up to Suarez. Suarez touches it down and smashes it in to make it 2-2. What a goal for the Brazilian. Scholes perhaps redeeming himself somewhat for giving away that penalty with the big ball through. Suarez just takes it down and hits it on the half volley on the swivel and makes it 2-2. What a goal for him. Going to continue on the attack. We really should and need to be winning this kind of game, considering where Arsenal are in the table, and perhaps we're at the risk of exposing ourselves at the back, but I kind of feel like that risk is worth it at this point. We have the momentum in this game, although Arsenal have looked threatening themselves, and they've got the ball here. Ramsey out wide, Welbeck in the middle for them, as is the centre mid. Congolo spread to Grealish. Arsenal spreading us wide here. Obviously our narrow midfield not coping with that too well, although Suarez comes away with the ball, and now Manuel Jesus is through, tackled. There's a scramble in the middle, and how Arsenal come away with the ball. It's 50-50. The battle in midfield. Suarez scores a hat-trick. What a goal. What a goal. A player who has just not performed for us at all has just redeemed himself single-handedly in one game. £20 million. What a hit, son. Maybe, just maybe he's going to be worth it in the long term. We're going to have to stick with him, but that kind of goal there, superb by him. And he gives us the lead with not long left, and now we just have to hold on. We've got some late goals so far in this episode. Hopefully we can just see out the last 3 minutes here for what would be an immense win. And with half a minute left, that looks like it's going to be all she wrote. Suarez. What a man. What a man. Manuel Jesus hits the crossbar. We're almost 4-2 in the death, but that will be all she wrote. That is game over. Suarez, my son, you've not played well by anyone's standards, but today you have been the difference maker. We moved him to striker. He played well, and what a comeback that is. Twice we came back from behind, and a 3-2 win to wrap off this episode. What a result that is. That sees us pull ahead of Liverpool by 8 points with 12 games remaining. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, next episode will be the Europa League games, because we are going to be taking on CSKA Moscow. That's going to be tricky. But this episode, we've kept our good form going in the toughest games of the year without any doubt. You know, we have an easier run in now. We just have to maintain our performances, and hopefully we can go on our way and you know, do well here. Looking at the league, we're actually only 7 points off Manchester United, if you want to look at it like that. But that win against Liverpool and against Arsenal were really the big ones this episode. But anyway, that's going to wrap things up from me, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed episode 75. Just a massive thank you for your ongoing support with this series. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying watching as much as I'm enjoying playing and recording these videos. And yeah, that's going to wrap things up from me. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. If you've enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If we could hit 500 likes, that would be incredible. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.